Yes, everybody, Russell and West Ham Network. Julian Lopetegui has just finished his press conference ahead of the game against City. No, City. That's what he kept on calling it. At the Etihad on Saturday. So let's get into it and tell you every exciting morsel. Oh, wrong way. God dear, look at me. What an amateur. Um, it was a more, what's the word? Animated. Look at this! Look at the sun. It was a more animated Julian Lopetegui than I think we've had for a while. Um, it wasn't so, there was didn't seem so downcast. I don't know, having just lost 5-0 to Liverpool at home, I thought you might be a bit more dour. Maybe he's still recovering from New Year's. But there was lots of questions about the injured players. Really, not much team news on top of what we already know. So he was asked about Jared Bowen right off the bat, and he goes, "When's he coming back? Let's see." But he's going to be out for a few days for sure. Unfortunately for us, he has an injury. He played for 30 minutes with it, and now he has to recover. It's not good news for us, but we are sure he'll work hard on his recovery because of his character. And mentioned the fact that because of the nature of the type of player he personally is, that he's going to be working hard to get back probably sooner rather than later. They asked for time frames, and he refused to give a time frame. So we don't really know. Despite the fact what ITKs or anyone is, we don't really know. The fact what's interesting is out for a few. He's going to be out for a few days for sure. I mean, the fact is, it's a fractured foot, so you're going to expect probably a couple of weeks at least, I'd say. But we don't know. We just don't know. And neither does Julien by the looks, or maybe he does. He's not telling us. But that fed through to another question, and something which as soon as that news came out about Jared, I was like, well, what's going to happen in the captain situation? There could be a possibility, an opportunity to give someone an opportunity to then become, to step up. And there's another candidates. Max Kilman, I think, could be a good shout. I think Tommy Soucek will be a shout as well. And he was asked that same question. He goes, basically, we have a leadership group with the likes of Aaron Cresswell, Thomas Sutak. He called him. His pronunciation was always as worse as mine today, to be honest. But who is captain is not something we are worried about. I reckon it's Thomas. It's not going to be Aaron Cresswell because he's not going to play. It's probably going to be Max or Thomas, isn't it, to be honest? And also the likelihood of them both playing as well. Thomas returns to the side, having been suspended for the Liverpool game. Also, there was good news about Michael Antonio, and he was asked about him specifically and whether he'd seen him since he'd been released from hospital, discharged, and that type of thing. He goes, Michael is going to be out for some time, but it's good he's home with his family. We're not going to have him back here for a long time. Thanks for that. And obviously, with those two injuries, it's January. The Russie rumour roundup returned early this morning. I completely forgot about the Julian Lopetegui press conference. Hence why I wouldn't have maybe started it today. But anyway, I did. Fuck it. Asked about the transfer window, what we're going for, who, what positions. He's very defensive. Obviously, to be honest, the way the new system, the alleged new system was going to work out was Julian really wasn't involved in that process. Was going to be Tim and David Sullivan. Whether that's changed, I don't know. But that's the assumption of how the system works. And he basically said, we've lost two important forwards, but the club knows our needs and will be working. We have to be focused on the next matches because it's going to be very demanding. The club is working to do this job, and we have to put our focus on being ready to compete in games. Obviously, 19 games on now. First half of the season complete. His review of the first half. I think we've had some good moments. Plural. And other moments we need to improve. We are demanding of ourselves. I think we know more about each other, and step by step, we are building. Each match is a demanding test, and the next one is Man City. The summer is when the season ends. We start the second half now, and we need to be ready for Saturday. There we go. He was also asked about Julian Lopetegui. He was also asked about Lucas Fabianski. Obviously, went off with a concussion protocol, and because of that, he's obviously out for these 10 days. He said we have to wait 10 days to fulfil the Premier League protocol. After that, he'll be ready to help us. We are confident in Alphonse and Wes. We fucking have to be because that's all we've got. Asked about Nicholas Fulkrug. He goes, Nicholas is our. It was such a bizarre way of expressing himself. He was asked about Nicholas and sort of the impact he's going to have, just coming back from injury and a few games. He goes, Nicholas is our player. And he's getting better step by step. Everyone's getting better step by step because he was out for a long time. We have other options too, but he is one player ready to help us. Just the way he talks about Nicholas Fulkrug makes it even more apparent to me that there was no mention about him to Julian Lopetegui, because the way he keeps mentioning he's our player, but yeah, he's one of lots of players, Danny Ings, and he doesn't never bigs him up much. Like some of the others. But obviously we turn to Man City, asked about themselves. They're one of the best sides in the world. Shock. You can talk about the last weeks, but we know they are a top team with a top coach and top players. It'll be a very demanding match. But in the same way, we have to believe in our strengths. In the last match against them, they started well, and we had good spells, and they got the win. Haaland hat-trick. Each match is different, and we think we are a different team now. But the thing about that Man City game was quite a few people were quite confident after losing 3-1 to Man City. I thought that time was quite good. It's like, we had a go and City is City, but now it's like, yeah, interesting. And then the final question was about his away form. The away form is relatively good compared to our home form, for sure. And he goes, for me, home and away are the same importance. Each match is different. We try to look at the positives and the things we can improve for every game. Now, I know this is all just fluff. You want to know the hard numbers. And I tell you what, our man, Julien, was back to form. I think the first for sure was in the first 3 seconds of the interview. Impressive. I think he had about 4 or 5 last week. 10. Back on form. Back on form for the for sure counter. And the focus, if you remember, there was no focuses at all last press conference. Now, 8. The man is on fire. Absolutely on fire. And there we have the Julien Lopetegui press conference ahead of the game against Titi. Well, I can't remember how I pronounced it, but it was really quite funny. Hammer's headlines. We're going to talk about an interesting sort of, what's the expression? Fan theory idea about what's going to happen with our director of football and head coach positions. I found it fascinating. That's why I did a bit about it, as well as talking about Freddie Potts, who had a phenomenal day yesterday, and Louise Al potentially leaving West Ham. But isn't that just like rinse and repeat every fucking week at West Ham? But anyway, if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. I know I'm going to go have some Lemsips, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my bloody friends. Coming you